Bite me. Or I bite rather, I should say. Hello and welcome to the Comic Hall. This is Dylan Lang welcoming you to another episode of the Comic Hall. For those who don't know, Comic Hall is my semi-weekly show I do every Wednesday, sometimes Friday, depending on my financial situation, where we make sure that these are connected right. Yep, where I discuss what I bought from the comic store this week. So here we go. To begin with, let me show you my haul. This is the Comic Haul for the week of July 16th, 2014. Some interesting stuff going on. As you'll see, not a lot of stuff. As always, I have it divided up by companies. I've got DC, Marvel, and Independent, include Image and IDW and the other as well. And I discuss each and every single one of them. Some interesting stuff this week. As I said, this isn't everything that's out this week. This is just stuff that I myself bought because it's stuff that I like and I collect. This is just to show you, what is out there. If you don't know, if you haven't had a chance to go out to your comic store yet, just to see what the cover looks like, the artwork looks like, whatever. Maybe a little mention here and there about what's coming up. So we'll see. Excuse me. First, let me get a sip of my summer ale. Let's get started. So, DC. Much like Marvel, DC has been going back to the number ones again, which is absolutely driving me bonkers. I understand the business aspect of it. Brand new creative team, brand new way of doing things, brand new characters, whatever. You throw number one on it. It doesn't mean I like it. I have to like it, and I don't. And there's just a lot of new number ones coming out and canceling of similar series and then having another number one. A good example is Teen Titans number one came out this week. I like the Teen Titans back in the 90s and in 2000. Even somewhat in the 80s probably, I think, when it was really good. But when the new 52 rolled around, I was not interested in it. I did not like it. I don't know why. I guess it was the change in some of the characters and the way that they acted and the way they were. I just didn't like it. And so I didn't really collect it. I read some of them when they crossed over with some of the Batman stories like that because Red Robin's there. But it just never jumped out at me. But it's a brand new number one. I figured let me give it another chance. But this series just it was out. It was up like issue around 33, 34, and they canceled it. Same with Suicide Squad last week. It was up around 33, 34. They canceled it to have new creative team, new direction, and they need to make a new number one. I'm still not a big fan about that, and there's really going to be no way you're going to sway me from that. But regardless, Teen Titans number one comes out this week. If you're a fan of the characters, it's Wonder Girl, Red Robin, Beast Boy, Raven, and Bunker. It's written by Will Pfeiffer, who has been pretty good. His Dial H for Hero was good. I think he did that one a while back, and he did some other stuff as well. Kenneth Rock, the artist, he was doing a lot of stuff on Image. So looks like they're in New York City. New York City. Artwork is pretty nice. Will Pfeiffer's a pretty good writer, so I'll have to give him a chance. But it just, I don't know, just starting over with new number ones. It just, I don't know. To call me old-fashioned, I guess, but I just don't like it. Teen Titans number one comes out this week. So someone mentioned to me a while back, what's a good starter book, And I'm going to do that. I also have a show on Sundays called Dylan Knows. I have a comic show beginning of every month, first Sunday of every month. So my most recent one's over and done with for this month. But I am going to be covering this in a future episode of Dylan Knows Comics, good starter comics. But a good place to start is with number ones. If you're a good writer, you can reintroduce the characters without having to know a lot of the background, a lot of what came before it. And if there's something that is integral to that from the past that's going to be played out in the present, a good writer will reintroduce it and treat it as if you haven't seen it before. So go into a comic store, pick up some number ones if you like the artwork, you like the writer, you like the characters. That's a good way to do it. Another way is trade. Get into it a little bit because I actually have a trade day, which I haven't done for a while. But anyway, with DC right now. Next up is Green Lantern New Guardians number 33. I like the Green Lanterns. Kyle was my Green Lantern for the longest time, and still kind of is. But now he's a White Lantern, and the New Guardians was supposed to cover all the different cores, the different color cores there are. I can understand why you might not do too many with the Red Lanterns because they have their own series, and too many with the Green Lanterns because they have their own series. But let's focus a little bit on the Blue Lanterns and the Yellow Lanterns. Well, Sinestro has his own book, but the Orange Lanterns and Indigos and the Violets. Right now, it just seems to be the Kyle and Carol show, which is fine. But the premise of the book should be focusing on all the characters and not just Kyle and Carol. Justin Jordan's writing it. He's a good writer. I like his stuff. Brad Walker is doing the artwork with Diogenes Neves, and inkers are Andrew Hennessy with Mark Deering. What I also don't like about this is they're shoehorning Carol and Hal. Shoehorning Carol and Kyle together, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. I prefer Carol with Hal Jordan. I think that's who she belongs with, and I'm a big fan of this flirtation. But we'll see. But as I said, it's just. It has a lot of potential. It's just, to me, it's not really living up to it all that much. And no offense to you, Justin, or Brad, or Andrew, or anything like that, but it's not as good as the other ones. And I'm going to stick with it because I'm a Green Lantern fan and I'm a Kyle fan. But I want to see some different stuff. I want to see more of the different cores. I don't just want to see Kyle and Carol. I want to see some of the blue. Granted, I know the blue core doesn't exist anymore, but you could do a story with them coming back, or focus a little bit more on some of the orange, what's going on with that, or get just different characters from the Red Lanterns and Yellow Lanterns and see how they interact with everyone else. That's my one beef with it. So I guess I'll stick with it, but it's starting to drift for me a little bit, especially trying to get Carol and Kyle together. As I keep mentioning every week, because this is a weekly show, DC's got 2 weekly comics. I have to keep up with them. I haven't been reading them, so I really don't know what's going on, but I'm still buying them so I can keep up with it. Batman Eternal number 15. This is the weekly Batman comics. Batwoman on the cover this time. It's focusing a lot more on the Batman family. Yeah, Batman is in it, but there's also Batwoman's in this one. Batwing's in this as well, in this issue. And you're getting introduced to Jim Corrigan, who plays the Spectre. He's in there too. Red Robin makes an appearance. So it's pretty interesting. So all the weekly books are going to have teams of writers on it. This one's got Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Ray Fawkes, John Layman, and Tim Seeley. Different artists, because you might have an artist do a couple books in a row, but on a weekly schedule you need to spread it out a little bit. Dustin Goyen and Derek Friedolfs are the artists on this issue. They did some of the earlier ones, and they're back with this. It's good. It's good looking stuff. It looks like Batgirl's in this as well, so you're getting a good idea of who's coming in. Some of Dustin's work. It's pretty nice, pretty good stuff. So from what I've read so far, the Batman Eternal, from what I've read, is excellent. I have, as I said, I've been behind a little bit, so I really can't tell you what else is going on with it. But looks like things are progressing nicely, and I can't wait to get caught up. Hopefully during my vacation in a couple weeks. So that's Batman Eternal number 15, if not before that. The other weekly book is DC's Future's End. New 52, number 11, comes out this week. This one is set 5 years in the future, and I think is going to lead, along with Batman Eternal, to a major shift in the DC universe. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but this one, once again, has different creative teams on it. The writers are Brian Azzarello, Jeff Lemire, Dan Jurgens, Keith Giffen. The penciler for this issue is George Genti with inker Cam Smith. George Genti did some of the Buffy books. So here's the Justice League lineup in this book for now. So, there's good stuff. Some of your favorite characters are here, but you also have a lot of the minor characters like Amethyst and Frankenstein and Mr. Terrific and Firestorm. Hawkman's in here as well. So that is that. Future's End, number 11. The biggest Comic-Con in the comic world is San Diego. San Diego will be next weekend. It's not this weekend. I believe it is next weekend. So you'll be hearing lots of stuff from San Diego. So if you're a fan of comics in general, find some feeds on Twitter. Comic Book Resources is a good one. Comic News, Newsarama. There's a whole bunch. Comicosity. There's a whole bunch of different sites you're going to want to keep an eye on. And the official ones, the DC Marvels, the Images, IDWs, are official ones as well. They'll be blowing out the new creative teams, the new characters, new storylines, stuff like that that's going to be coming in the future. And you'll get to see some artwork from the upcoming stories that are going to be building and coming in here. Maybe some idea about where Future's End and Batman Eternal are going with this. Coming up in San Diego next week. So keep an eye on that stuff if you want to hear what's going on. Until then, to sate your appetite for that, Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, who are two really great artists who also happen to be married. Amanda's a great artist as well, and Jimmy is a great inker. They've crafted the Harley Quinn Invades Comic-Con International San Diego one-shot. Gorgeous wraparound cover by Amanda, featuring cosplayers and Harley running through there with her big hammer stomping on them. It's a one-shot where, obviously, invades Comic-Con. And this is just great where she enters a room full of Joker cosplayers. It's hilarious. So, awesome. It's a great character. Jimmy and Amanda write it, and they got a whole score of artists. Let me read you the artists. They got Paul Pope, Javier Garron, Damian Scott and Robert Campanella, Amanda Conner, John Timms, Marco Failla, Dave Johnson, and Stéphane Roux are some of the artists on this. So it's just pure insanity. Here's Harley with a bunch of Harley cosplayers, so that's actually kind of funny too. Check it out if you want something fun and ridiculous and actually kind of gorgeous to look at. There's really some nice artwork in here. It's takes a look at the San Diego culture, what it's all about, and is a just Amanda and Jimmy get it, and it's a great. Might be maybe a lot of in-jokes in there for a lot of people if you've never been to San Diego, but go ahead, check this out. It looks hilarious. It looks freaking funny as anything, and it looks gorgeous. The artwork is fantastic. And Amanda and Jimmy are fantastic as well. So check that out. Hopefully you'll get a copy of that. I didn't know it was coming out till I checked to see what was coming this week. I'm glad I bought my copy. Yeah, it's a little steep, but it's double size, and it looks freaking hilarious. But yeah, next week is San Diego Con, so keep an eye. You'll be able to keep an eye about what's coming on. My last DC book is a mini big storyline that's going to be going through Batman. It might actually just be going through Batman and Robin because I don't think any other ones are going to be taking a look at it. But this is where it all begins. Robin rises Omega. Robin's been dead for a few years now, so apparently he's going to be making a comeback soon, or so, I don't know. So there's this one shot here, and it's going to continue in Batman and Robin, number 33. And great artwork. It's written by Peter Tomasi, who is doing a fantastic job writing Batman and Robin. And Andy Kubert is penciling it, and Jonathan Glapion is inking it. And the paper is not your typical comic paper. It's more sketch paddy, I guess. And I guess it looks like the basic premise is Batman's going to have to team up with Ra's al Ghul, taking on Apocalypse parademons and stuff like that, who take the body of Robin for whatever reason we don't know yet. The Justice League makes its appearance. The brand new Justice League makes its appearance with Lex Luthor and Captain Cold and Shazam and all that. And just absolutely gorgeous. Aquaman showing he's a badass. Bring a bunch of killer whales attacking. But I mean, of it all, having Peter Tomasi do the story is fantastic. And Batman's just hitting everybody here. And Frankenstein's involved in it. And just this shot of Batman, P.O. Batman, just gorgeous artwork. So I'd have him. This is actually a pretty interesting story. Peter Tomasi's writing it. He's doing a fantastic job writing Batman. It's not an overarching, from what I recall, it's not an overarching event comic. It's just basically staying within the confines of the Batman and Robin comic. So if you already collect Batman and Robin, you might want to pick this up. And if you're not collecting Batman and Robin, what's the matter with you? You got to do it. It's a series, and it's doing fantastic. And Patrick Gleason, who's the artist on that, is fantastic. He is probably doing the comics right now. We've got Andy Kubert, whose artwork is just amazing. So just some real good stuff, you know. Good stuff coming up. So check that out. And that's it for the DC haul. Now I'm in Marvel haul. As you saw with the shirt at the beginning of the show, Rocket Raccoon's was on my shirt. Guardians of the Galaxy have a movie coming out on August 1st. And so the Marvel people are going to start pushing the Guardians of the Galaxy in different comics as well, and various other comics to draw people, get people's interest in it, not only the comic, but you know, people who've seen the movie might want to see, well, what are the other appearances of Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, Silver Surfer number 4 has the requisite team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Captain Marvel. Yeah, Captain Marvel's in this as well. I guess she's a member of the Guardians now. Star-Lord, Gamora, and Drax. Dan Slott, Michael Allred. What's great about Silver Surfer, this revamp is fantastic so far. Dan Slott has always been, you know, if you follow him on Twitter, you know he is a huge Doctor Who fan. And basically, this looks like his way of doing Doctor Who. Be it with Silver Surfer, because he's got a companion now, and they're going through wild and crazy adventures. Venom to be in this as well, so we've got some. I didn't know Venom was part of the Guardians of the Galaxy either. So it looks like it's Slott's version of doing Doctor Who, and it's hilarious. The artwork is perfect for this, and you know, it's hilarious. It looks great. Look at, you kind of love that kid in underwear on the Silver Surfer surfboard. So fantastic. No, so good little twist ending there. So we'll see what happens. But Silver Surfer 4, one of the good ones that Marvel has brought out. It's a good series, really funny, good artwork, very adventure-y, and very Doctor Who-ish. So if you're a big Doctor Who fan, you might want to pick up Silver Surfer. It's only issue 4, so your comic store might have the previous 3 issues available as well. Another book that keeps surprising me is Elektra number 4. Just the artwork, the story itself is fantastic. Elektra's never been really one of my favorite characters, but just getting this gorgeous artwork by Del Mundo is fantastic. Very painterly, Michael Del Mundo. W. Hayden Blackman is doing the writing, but it makes it a completely different vibe when you have this painterly style, and the story is excellent right now. So, if you're interested in Elektra, or once again just want to check out something different, you might want to pick up Elektra. It's got some gorgeous covers, gorgeous artwork, good storyline. So, Elektra number 4 is out today too. Miss Marvel number 6 is the next one we're going to talk about. Miss Marvel is written by G. Willow Wilson with art by Jacob Wyatt. Artwork is it's okay. It fits the comic because it's a different style of comic. Miss Marvel is Islamic. G. Willow Wilson is Islamic as well. So it's a first all over. You get an Islamic superhero, which you hardly ever see there, a Middle Eastern superhero, written by a Middle Eastern woman. So it's a unique viewpoint. And actually, this artwork is looking a lot better than some of the previous issues. So check it out, Miss Marvel. Pretty good story. And Wolverine makes a requisite appearance in here. Just to, come in there and help boost sales a little bit. I don't know. Also, so that's 3 straight female-based Marvel comics. Here's She-Hulk number 6. Oh, sorry, She-Hulk. Charles Soule is doing a great job of writing it. This issue, though, Ron Wimberly is the artist. Honestly, it's not really my style. I'm really not a big fan of the abstract style that's here. It's just personal preference, but Charles Soule is writing the hell out of the book and is doing a wonderful job with that. So I suppose this fits appropriately with where the storyline is going. Just not a big fan of it right now. So of the artwork, the story is fantastic, but the artwork, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's just a one-off, or maybe he's the new regular one. To be honest, I don't really know. But pick up She-Hulk's pretty good too. So Marvel's been doing pretty good about creating female characters and giving them their own books. The big news this week is Thor is going to be a female now, with people rumored who's going to be the actual Thor. A lot of people think it's Angela. Some people might think it's Sif. Who knows? So we'll find out soon. But that's not till October. I don't think it's going to happen till October. So, but there's another female-centric superhero. So lots of female comics books out there now. Women are the highest growing comic fans in the country and the world. So it's good that the comic stores are starting to give them product that they may be interested in buying on top of the stuff they buy already. I think my last Marvel one is another great book that once again surprised the heck out of me. It's Magneto number 7. Cullen Bunn is writing a great story. Gabriel Hernandez Walta and Javier Fernandez they've been doing a good job with the artwork. It's not your typical Magneto storyline. It's not your Magneto you're used to, but it's excellent. He does show off his powers. He does use his powers. So, and gorgeous artwork. I don't. It's such a great story, and I'm really excited Cullen Bunn's writing some good stuff. He was just announced to be writing a new Lobo book, which I don't like the Lobo character, but with Cullen writing it, it might be something to check out because he's also writing Sinestro, which is fantastic too. So that's Marvel and DC are done. Only got a few more left, including the big book of the week, probably the one that most people are going to be going to the comic stores this week to get. That's coming up soon. First up, I love this book. Love this book. And you should buy this book, and you should read it, and you should love it also. The first trade came out about a month or so ago. They're only on issue 8. This is Manifest Destiny from Image. Love this book. Love it. Premise is one of those premises you're like, why didn't I think of that? The basic premise is Lewis and Clark, the historical figures who go out west once the United States has procured all the land out west. The president sends out Lewis and Clark to explore the West since they don't know what's out there. And history knows they find like Yellowstone and Grand Tetons and mountains and Indians and buffaloes and all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, what if they actually found supernatural creatures as well? The first story arc in Manifest Destiny dealt with minotaurs, kind of. You'll get that joke if you read it. But they're like bull, half human, half bull type looking creatures, but it was more half buffalo, half human creatures. Plants, plant people. And last issue, number 7, brought about a giant frog. And I'll see if I can find a picture of the giant frog for you, just to show you how crazy it is. Well, no, there's not a giant frog, but there's a giant insect. That's the kind of the weird stuff that's going on in Manifest Destiny. There's just the artist drawing of it. But it takes place in the historical era when Lewis and Clark are exploring, and Sacagawea is a badass in this. That's her with I guess Lewis, and it is just a fantastic series. Great artwork, great story, fantastic story. Chris Dingus and Matthew Roberts, phenomenal. Pick up the trade, read the trade, you will absolutely love it, and then you'll want to pick up issue 7 and 8. Manifest Destiny is a fantastic book and one everybody should be reading. Not just fans of history, which, alternate history to be honest, but the premise alone should bring you out there to check it out, and the artwork is amazing. So, Manifest Destiny, check it out. Interesting. Now, comics are not just, and I keep pushing this, I'm going to keep pushing it till the end of my days, but comics are not just for boys or men. Women, as I told you earlier, are slowly starting to, they're the fastest growing comic book readership right now. Lots of women getting into comic book stores and reading of their own accord just because they can, and it's interesting to them. But at the same time, comics are for kids, and your comic industry is not going to survive unless you get kid readers who come in with their kids. They get into the comics, they read the comics, and then as they get older, they grow up with the comics and start exploring other comics. That's what I did. Spider-Man was my first comic book. I read all the Spider-Mans when I was little, and my dad had. Then he gave me money for allowance, stuff like that. I went to my local newsstand. I'd pick up anything with Spider-Man on the cover, and Marvel at that time was putting Spider-Man in a lot of different books, so that got me a chance to check out the Marvel Team Up, Fantastic Four, The Avengers, stuff like that. And then I started reading those books. And then as I got older, in 1986, when DC revamped itself after the Crisis, I started reading Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and getting into DC at that time, and still being into Marvel and stuff like that. So it just starts with just getting kids started to read comics. I've already started with my kids. They really like, as I told you last week, my son loves Angry Birds, and that's another good book for families to pick up. My daughter, they have Littlest Pet Shop. They have Powerpuff Girls. They've got Scooby Doo. They've got Tinkerbell comics. And I wasn't going to show this to you because, but this came out this week also. I got this for my daughter. She's a Monster High fan. They have a Monster High trade paperback now also. So if you have any children that are Monster High fans, there is a trade paperback collecting some comics, original graphic novel. I'm going to give that to her for a vacation present. I hope she likes it. So as I said, you get them started early, and then gradually they will grow to love comics as well, and they'll keep going. You got yourself some new fans, and then they spread out they spread out to their friends, stuff like that. So on that note, two of the best who are doing great kids-friendly books are Art Balthazar and Franco. They do the fantastic Tiny Titans that I've talked about in the show. They also do their own book called Captain Action Cat, which is distributed by Dynamite. And it's distributed by Dynamite, but it also has connection to Dark Horse as well. And just Balthazar and Franco are just very Teen Titans-esque artwork, and a lot of comic in jokes in it as well. And you can't beat it. It's cats. It's Super Cats. There's also a Super Cat that they created also, which should be coming out in comic format soon too. And it's a great book. It's a good kid-friendly book. Balthazar and Franco do a great job on Tiny Titans. Check out their creator-owned book, Captain Action Cat, as well. I highly recommend it. And if you live in Skokie, Illinois, definitely check out their comic store, All Yeah Comics. Captain Action Cat #3. So if you want to take your kids to the comic book store, or you're afraid that there aren't any stuff for kids anymore, there are still plenty of stuff for kids. My comic store has a whole section of kids stuff, and as I showed you, the Monster High book is brand new, came out this week as well. So there's all kinds of cool stuff. All right, we're down to 2 more books. One is the book of the week that everybody is going to be going to your comic stores because it is all over the newspapers, and the other is trade paperback one. I have a trade I haven't gotten. I haven't gotten trades in a while, but we'll talk about that. But first, here's the big news. As you can see, rest in peace, Archie. You've probably heard about this. Archie Andrews from Archie Comics has died. He has been shot and killed in the newest issue of Life with Archie, number 36, which is what I have right here. I don't collect Archie, but I was going to collect this one because of the historical significance of it. First, let's a little bit of history about Archie before we talk about this. Archie Comics has been around since the 40s, probably 30s or 40s. They're one of the earliest comic books out there, and everyone knows it. It's Betty and Veronica, Jughead, Hot Dog, all the fans. It's just the typical high school kid, who can't choose between 2 gorgeous women. He's kind of goofy. His best friend is goofy, and they just have goofy adventures. They're rock stars. They have their own band. They actually have a #1 hit. The Archies sing the song "Sugar." Do, 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 do. Honey, honey, do, 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 do. That's the Archies. That's Archie and Betty and Veronica and all that. Sabrina is an offshoot of Archie. Sabrina had her own TV show, with Melissa Joan Hart. So Archie's been around forever. It's iconic. Most people know who Archie is. If you say Archie, most people are like, I know who that is. They might not have ever read any Archie, but for some reason they know who Archie is. Once again, another good all-ages comic. Now, the Archie Comics imprint, they've been doing Archie Comics for a while, so it's just like Archie Comics, and then Jughead Digest, and then Betty and Veronica comic, and then Sabrina comic, and that's it. And it's just adventures of Archie in high school and trying to decide who he wants between Betty and Veronica, and then you throw Josie and the Pussycats, who also are part of that group as well, and you get that. So Archie's been around for a long time, and so to update it a little bit, the Archie Comics imprint is actually one of the best in the business because they were one of the first people to introduce interracial relationship. They were one of the first to introduce a gay main character, not a side character. We'll bring him in when we want to be, newsworthy, whatever. No, had his own book, very popular. Um, and now they decided we're going to do some other stuff as well. One, they did Life with Archie, which is what this is. This is issue number 36. So there's been three. This has been out for 3 years. Basically, this follows Archie after high school, and it follows him in 2 different paths. So you see what happens if he married Betty, and you see what happens if he married Veronica. So the storylines, bounce back and forth and interconnect and stuff like that. So it's a bit more of a grown-up storyline, but you get an idea of where Archie's going, in that. So he's grown up now, he's married, so he's older, stuff like that. Paul Kupperberg is the writer of the story. Penciler is Pat and Tim Kennedy, with the inks by Jim Amash. It has 5 covers, but they're well worth it because it is a big story, because it is the death of Archie. Now, they've talked about this for a while. They mentioned it a while back, but now it's actually here. The newspapers have been talking about it. So this is grown-up Archie. This is not Archie from high school who died. This is grown-up Archie. So the Archie comics that most people know and love about him in high school, facing off with Betty and Veronica and stuff like that, it's still going on. It's going to be going on forever. It's like Charlie Brown. You're never going to get rid of it. I may as well show you the money shot, as it were. Here's Archie getting shot and killed. He's doing it by saving his friend Kevin, who happens to be the openly gay character. So, an interesting idea. I mean, Life with Archie really is not in the continuity of the Archie comics. It's just the writer said, hey, what would happen if we made them grow up, so that the people who grew up with Archie, who are now family members, can say, okay, I don't want to read any more about Archie in high school. Let me see what happens when he gets older. So they created Life with Archie. So this is what that is. They also created Afterlife with Archie, which is to jump on the zombie craze, and it's about Archie in high school taking on a zombie apocalypse, which is a phenomenal book. And I think I might have talked about it on one of these shows in the past. And that book is still ongoing also, so that one's a good one as well. But this is my first issue of Life with Archie. Will probably be my last, but I had to get it just for the whole death of Archie thing, because it is a big deal in the comic world right now. It's 5 covers. It's getting people into the comic store. I actually had somebody I work with today say, hey, did you know Archie's dying? I was like, yes, but it's not quite what you think it is, so I had to tell them what it was actually. But this is somebody who's never read, that even follows comics or knows what I'm talking about whenever I talk comics. They heard it on the radio that Archie was dead, so they said, hey, you got killed. What happens? And I said, this is what happens. So, Life with Archie, 5 different covers. There's some good ones. This is the one I picked just because I liked the thought that, all of his friends hanging at the pizza joint in memory of Archie. There's a really good one drawn by Adam Hughes, who draws really gorgeous females, which has Betty and Veronica and an empty chair in between them. And honestly, I can't remember what the other ones were. But my comic store had all 5. I wasn't going to buy all 5. I bought the one I liked the best, which is this one by Ramon Perez. So I think a lot of people are going to go to comic stores just to look into this. My comic store, he stocks some Archie, but not a whole lot. He had a bunch of these. So I'm betting that they knew this was going to be the death of Archie. It was been talked about for a while. So your comic store probably has enough for people who just want to pick up their first issue of Archie, and probably their last also. So, Life with Archie 36. Rest in peace, Archie. You'll still live on in your regular Archie comics, and I don't know for how long for Afterlife with Archie, but I recommend you check out Afterlife with Archie. It's fantastic. If you want some good, wholesome kid stuff, check out the Archie comics as well. And go ahead and pick up Life with Archie 36. You want to. It's a big deal. It's up there with the death of Superman. So my last one before I'm done for the night is a trade. I haven't done trades in a while, but this is a series that I got the first issue. I kind of liked it, but it just hit when my financial problems happened, and I just couldn't get caught back up. So I decided to wait for the trade, and here it is, Alex and Ada, Volume 1, from Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughn. Um, Jonathan Luna is a very interesting guy. He and his brother did a couple of books for Image. One was Girls, one was Ultra. Ultra, this was the only two I read. I think he did another one called The Sword, I think. Um, Ultra was the first one that I ever read with Jonathan Luna and his brother, um, and it was about a dress designer who was a superhero. So it was kind of interesting. It was a good story. They tend to tell a beginning, middle, end story. Usually that's about 24 issues, maybe 36. I can't remember. I think it's 24, 36, one of those two. So they have a distinct story that they want to tell. They do, I think it's 24. They do 4, 6-issue story arcs that are all connected. Ultra was like that with the fashion designer superhero. Girls is a lot like Under the Dome, for fans of the Stephen King book Under the Dome, and the TV show somewhat. Girls is one you might want to check out. It's a little bit more creepy. Basically, a big dome covers, much like in Under the Dome, covers a town. And this came out before Under the Dome. Granted, I've heard that King had been writing Under the Dome for a long time, but this comic came out a while back, and this big giant dome covers a town, and then there's all these naked women are run loose in the town. So the men, of course, are turned on by them. The women hate them. We discover these girls are like aliens, and they are here to kill and eat people. So it's an interesting story. I didn't read The Sword, so I couldn't tell you what that's about. But Alex and Ada is take a look at the near future, where this guy picks up a wife, which is a realistic android, it's an android wife type of thing. It's a story of him coming to terms with having a android wife and falling in love with a robot. Artwork is very clean and crisp, just like the Lunas do, and they know how to write really good women characters and characters you like a lot. So I like the first issue. Had introduced a lot of interesting characters, and I don't know how long this series is going to last. I don't know if it's going to be another 24 or 36 issues, but we'll see. But I want to pick up and then we get caught up with it. So Alex and Ada trade comes out this week. So that is my comic haul for today. So my last spiel before I go. This week is unique. As I said, all the press is about the death of Archie. A lot of people who have heard of Archie or have followed them in the old days but never followed them before will hear these stories and might be interested to go into the comic stores to pick up books. This is the perfect time to go to your comic store. If you've never been to your comic store, if you haven't been in years, this weekend is the perfect time to go. It's their last week before San Diego. A lot of them are probably going to be going to San Diego. So you go in there, just check it out. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, but just check it out. Comic stores are a lot different than they used to be. If you like the comic book movies and want to get into comics that way, go to the stores, look around, find something you might like, talk to the people who run the stores. They're very helpful. Most ones I've encountered. I've worked at Diamond Comics as customer service rep, so I do know a little bit about that. So a lot of my accounts were very good, very knowledgeable people, and be willing to try to sell you something. If you ask them questions, they would tell you answers and help guide you in the right direction. So there's plenty of comics out there now. They're not all superheroes anymore. There's dramas, there's comedies, there's kids shows, there's mature reader stories, there's fantasy, there's science fiction, there's horror, you name it. There's licensed stuff. If there's TV shows that you've liked from the past or the present, or movies you've liked from the past or the present, they've got a comic for them probably. So go to your local comic store. On the weekends, they usually do a special offer. Mine's doing 50% off trade paperbacks this weekend, and they have an artist coming in. Andy Smith will be in this Saturday. So if you don't know if you have a store in your area, go to your search engine and type in CSLS. That's the Comic Shop Locator Service. It'll take you to the website, the Comic Shop Locator Service website, and there's a little box there. You type in your zip code. It should give you every comic book store within a 30-mile radius of you, unless you want to expand it more. Go to these stores, check them out, see if you like them. If you don't, you don't. That's fine, but don't give up on comic stores because they're not all the same. They're all different nowadays. Starter comics, trades are good. As I said before, if you're interested in getting into comics, trades are good. Find trades, read whole stories. There's a lot of good trades out there. Just ask some people at the comic store, hey, what would be your recommendations for good storylines to start with? I will be doing a show, my Dylan Knows show, in a month or two, about starter comics. Teen Titans #1 just came out. If you want to get into that, and there's been a whole bunch of #1s. I mean, Marvel's in the 3 and 4s right now, so you might be able to find some of the earlier issues of that comic. So just, what's it gonna hurt? Go to your local comic store, just check it out. Just read comics. Comics are for everyone. Read them. They do help you read. There's lots of pictures, but there's also lots of words too. Lots and lots of words. And if you can't. You can't read the book without reading the book. You might look at the pictures; they're beautiful, but you won't get the gist of the story without reading the book. So I'm done. I've talked enough. A little over my 30-minute range, but I had a lot to talk about this week. Next week will be the San Diego Con week. I don't know when I'll be doing my show. Might be Wednesday, might be Friday. So we'll see what happens. And then I'll be on vacation, so I probably won't be doing a show while on vacation since I won't be getting comics while I'm on vacation. So I'm going to take about a week break in a couple weeks, and then I'll be back with a double haul. Okay? So watch Dylan Knows on Sundays, every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Different genre, different co-hosts. This week I've got Supernatural. I'm going to follow up, make sure that my co-host Daphne Du is available for my Supernatural show, and might get a special guest in Lee Midgey Girl. And then when I am on vacation, even though I won't be able to do a comic haul, I will be doing a Dylan Knows if the Wi-Fi down at the beach house is good. I'll be doing Dylan Knows International with Bronwyn, and my special guest McGivnos have been shifted to August because they can't do July. So I'm on the search for some new co-hosts, but I have an idea. So Bronwyn and I are going to be looking for someone, but I've got some ideas about what I want to do. So stay tuned for that. And then my comic show will be back August 3rd probably. We'll be talking Guardians of the Galaxy. The movie would have been out by then, and I'm going to try to get Consweet Khan and Murderlotta back on, who are San Diego veterans, to tell me how this year's San Diego was. If I can't get them on that month, well, we might do the starter books, or we might even do that anyway. So a lot of stuff coming up in Dylan Knows, but first and foremost, Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out Dylan Knows Supernatural. All right? On that note, I bid you a pleasant good evening, and have a pleasant day, and a pleasant evening, and go buy comics this weekend.